Hello everyone, welcome back. Please comment, rate, subscribe, folks. Comment, rate, subscribe, like the videos. Also share the videos. I want to thank everyone that does like, watch, and share my videos. You folks are the absolute best. Listen, folks, there's a link tree down below. Has links to all of my social media. Please go down there and follow me across my social media platforms. Talk to me, I talk back. Also has a link to my YouTube pages as well. Please go down there, subscribe to all my YouTube pages, and turn on your notifications so when I post content, you folks would be in the know. So with that said and done and put to the side, folks, I'm going to talk to you folks today about the Jets defensive line. Listen, this is a position group that did some work this year. We had some injuries, but there's some improvements that can be made, especially with some of the free agents that are out there that, we can end up with. And we'll talk about that in just a second. I want to talk about the guys, that were here during this season. I'm not going to talk about every single D lineman that we had on the roster. I'm just going to talk about, a couple of guys I was really impressed by, some of the guys I think we can continue to move forward with. So the first guy I want to talk about on our defensive line that I think really looked solid this year was Quinn Williams. Whoa, that kid's a monster. Okay, he did end the season with the neck issue. He also had a concussion as well. Hoping that he comes back fully healthy from that. Neck issues are nothing to laugh about. We've seen a lot of people, have their careers altered by it, but hopefully, he's a young kid. Hopefully everything goes well with that. We get him back. He's at full 100%, moving on throughout his career. And I'm hoping that that does not continue to be a lingering issue, moving on throughout his career. But Quinn Williams is a beast, man. He's a complete beast. And that's what is so intriguing about, with Robert Saleh coming in here and he's bringing a 4-3, we're switching from a 3-4 to a 4-3. It's going to be, very crazy to see how they utilize Quinn Williams within that 4-3 scheme. We all know he's a monster. We all know the kid can put on. He's extremely strong, unbelievably athletic. Not a guy that's going to get you a ton of sacks, but a guy that's going to get you some pressures here and there. And he's he can be a beast against the run too. So this is a young kid that's put on that we're extremely excited with, and a guy that we can definitely see ourselves moving forward with. So Quinn Williams did a really good job this year for us. Another guy, Fatukasi. Here's a guy that, was a guy that, not many people really thought too much about. Later round draft pick, trying to figure out what this kid has. Comes in this year, before we fired Greg Williams, and Greg put him out there. And this guy really was doing some good things. Really solid run stuffer, very physical up front, really stout member of our defensive line. He played extremely well this year, was pretty much highly graded on a weekly basis, whether you look at PFF or you just talk to analysts around. He was playing some really good football up front. So that's another guy that I'm excited about on this defensive line, a guy that can really play stout specifically against the run too. Another guy that we had along our defensive line that really put things together, John Franklin Myers. Man, let me tell you something. This guy popped out. He was a guy that got nicked up as well during this year. But when he was out there, boy, oh boy, did he provide a little bit of pass rush. There was times where we were really excited about what he could bring to the table. Do I think he's a guy that's going to be, an elite pass rusher in this league? I don't know about that just yet, but I do think he's a guy that can be a rotational guy that can come in and be, rotational pass rusher, a guy to come in and really get after the quarterback and then, for a couple downs and then he'll get in, he'll get out, and then another guy will come in and it could just work like that. This is a guy that I think showed pretty good promise here. So I'm excited to go forward with him and see what he's got as well. A big question mark along our defensive line, one of the players was Zungia. I'm looking to see what he's actually going to do in the 4-3. There's a lot of people that say that he's more of a fit for the 4-3 versus the 3-4. A couple of analysts that talked about that, especially on draft night. A lot of people were looking and saying, well, isn't he a better, kind of 4-3 outside backer than he would be a 3-4 defensive lineman? So we'll see what happens going forward with him. But he's a kid that, again, another guy that, JD drafted, Joe Douglas brought in. And I want to see this kid continue to make steps to move forward too. Because he does have ability. I don't think he's not a bad player, but we just want to see more out of him going forward. So Zungia to me is a little bit of a question mark, but a guy that I think we've seen a little bit out of and we're intrigued with. So when you look at the situation now, we're saying, okay, we've got some guys up, but what exactly are we going to do as far as free agency? Because there's some guys that are going to be on the line. We released Henry Anderson. We already know that's done. That saved us quite a bit of money on the cap. He was a guy that was not going to be a scheme fit for the 4-3 anyway, so it was just time to move on from him. He really wasn't impressive last year. He had a flash, a couple years ago, but outside of that, we really didn't get what we thought we would be getting from him. So we've moved on from him. He is gone. But a free agent that's out there, the Jets free agent that is out there now, and a whole guy I'm wondering if we're going to bring back is Terrell Basham. Whoa. This guy played pretty solidly too. He showed us flashes as well, rushing the passer. There was games where he got some really key sacks, and not just key sacks, but he also got some key pressures as well during this season. So he's a guy I'd like to see us bring back. Again, switching to that 4-3, which is going to be a big sticking point with a lot of the free agent signings that we make, and also going into the draft. I think our personnel defensively is going to be switched up a little bit because we have a couple guys that really are more fits for the 3-4 than they are for the 4-3. So, but Terrell Basham is a guy that I'm hoping Sulla can be able to fit in this scheme because he's a guy that has a motor, and I mean he gets after it. Let me tell you. And again, he was a guy in key moments that really put some things together for us. And a guy, again, I think can be in a rotation as well and really be able to make things happen. So I'm hoping that we bring him back. Some of the free agents that are out there that I like, let me tell you something. It starts and ends with me. When you talk about pass rushers that are going to be out there, Shaq Barrett. Oh, my God. Man, listen, Shaq Barrett is something else, okay? I know everybody saw him in the Super Bowl running around and just wreaking havoc on the Chiefs offense and completely trying to obliterate Patrick Mahomes and just destroying any chance they had to get any kind of cohesion going, in that Super Bowl. I know everyone saw that, but he's been one of the better pass rushers in this league for quite a bit. You know what I'm saying? Him and JPP out there in Tampa, they've been one of the better pass rushing tandems in this league for quite a bit here. They didn't just start in the Super Bowl. No, these dudes been doing it for a couple years, and he's a guy that's really been put together. The thing is, again, you go into free agency, you talk about pass rushers, boy, you better be ready to spend. And I mean, we got quite a bit of bread. You know what I'm saying? We almost got, I think we like 68 million now, almost 70 million, something like that. We got quite a bit of bread, but Shaq Barrett, that boy is going to be asking for a lot of cash. And let me tell you something, he deserved it. I'm not taking anything away from him. Whatever he gets in free agency, he damn sure deserves. But Shaq Barrett, for me, man, I would love to see him in a Jets uniform, but I don't know, man. Paying out of your nose like that for a pass rusher is going to be tough. But if we do, Shaq Barrett is the guy that I want. Another guy in free agency that is out there, Yannick Ngakoue. Listen, the Jets flirted with him, last season. Jets fans got all excited about Yannick. They thought we were going to get him. Things just didn't work out that way. He went on to another team, and, we went on our merry way as well. Well, here he is again in free agency, in a situation here. Hopefully, maybe we end up with him. He's a guy that I wouldn't mind taking as well. He can provide some edge rush, some rush off that edge, and he'd be able to put some pressure on too. So Yannick is out there as well. You look at the draft, and again, we'll continue to talk about the draft as it comes up, but there's already, a lot of analysts linking us to Gregory Rousseau from Miami. This is a guy that's going to be there. A lot of people saying we could end up taking him at 23. Pass rushers in the draft, I think that's the way we will probably end up going because, again, you don't want to pay those guys in free agency. So that might be a kid in the draft that we could target. So with that said, listen, comment down below, folks. Let me know what you folks think. How do you feel about our, pass rushing options? What are your thoughts about some of the free agents that we have? Terrell Basham, would you bring him back? What are your thoughts about some of the guys that we already have currently on the roster, guys who are going to continue to move forward with, like Quinn Williams, Fadukasi? What are your thoughts about those guys? So comment down below. Let me know what you folks think. You folks have a good one. Peace.